Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Walker Memorial Trophy for Race 4 from Sardegna A in Italy. It's an interesting, very speedy racetrack. Let's take a look at the current championship standings after 3 races. SGP is leading the way by 3 points ahead of Steve F1. There's a bit of a gap back to Demon R in 3rd and Mitch in 4th, now on 43 and 41 points. And then a bit of a gap again to Dave the Harp in 5th. Fluffy's in 6th with Twilight 7th, Jimmy 8th, Bunsel 9th, Rich Blues 10th. And then we've got Gary, Tyler, SRI, Groover, Jason, Hay, Mandalorian and Conrad. This championship, the grid is formed up in championship standings order, so sitting on pole position once again is going to be DGT League SGP, and he's going to be joined on the front row by Steve F1. On row 2 we've got Demon R, and he's going to be ahead of Mitch at this race, Mitch being in 4th place. On row 3 is Dave the Harp, he's joined by Fluffy Planet in 6th place, and in 7th we've got Twilight. I wonder if he's realised yet that everybody's sporting the hashtag Kate tag in this championship. In 8th place we've got Jimmy, and then behind them we've got Bunsel in 9th for Rich Blues in 10th, and then formerly Gary 11th, Tyler 12th, SRI starts 13th, could be a bad omen, Jason 14th, Hay 15th and Conrad 16th. Dave the Harp is going to be the victim of the spy cam today, so let's head over to the commentary team. And joining me on commentary here in Sardegna is Connor. How are you, Connor?
I'm good, how are you, Dave?
I'm absolutely rocking. The drivers are ready, sitting on the grid. SGP on pole position. Steve F1 joins him on the front row once again as the lights go out and away they go, and it looks like a decent start from Steve F1 and from Demon R.
Yeah, we have a car bogged down in the background. We've got SRI going around the outside.
Oh, you don't want SRI anywhere near you, really. Okay, well, we've got Steve F1 attacking SGP into turn 1. SGP goes defensive. David Hart coming under pressure from Fluffy. Demon R running wide. SGP's gone off on his own. Demon R's put Steve F1 into the gravel, and it's carnage at turn 1.
Mitch coming around the outside, contact.
Oh, yeah, Mitch taking the lead then. It looks like Demon R is pulling over. Has he got a problem?
I think that's due to the first corner with Steve F1. Where is he coming through?
You know what, you could be absolutely right there, Connor. That might be one of the first times we've seen Demon R have to go that slowly, but what that's done is that has given Mitch a brilliant lead at the moment, with Twilight in 2nd place, Tyler in 3rd, Jimmy, he must be thinking it's Christmas, he's up in 4th, SGP's down to 5th, and Conrad up to 6th with Fluffy right behind him.
Yeah, Conrad up to 6th from 16th on the back of the grid. Jimmy getting some nosebleeds from being that high up.
Oh, you know, he will get nosebleeds as well. I'm wondering, can Tyler really put the pressure on to Twilight?
Jimmy's gone wide.
He has. I was about to mention, Connor, there's 2 corners around this track that are rather nasty, and they're both hairpins, and we could see drivers going deeper into the barriers on that occasion.
Car sideways.
Yeah, that was rich. Just to let you know, you might need to just speak up a little bit, Connor. Can't have you getting too shy on the microphone there, can we?
We need subtitles, to be honest.
Hey, what? Okay, so yeah, I was going to say the 2 hairpins here, we're going to see people running wide, I'm sure. It's a good opportunity of overtaking, as SGP is now on the back of Jimmy as he's trying to recover from that moment going
We've
wide.
got Fluffy side by side with Conrad coming in as well.
Side by side for the final corners. Tricky SGP nearly ran wide. I thought he was going to end up in the old barrier there.
Watch out for cars behind with the boost as well, so you get a good run in this first corner.
Oh yeah, you know what, SGP's having a look at Jimmy, but he's not really going for it. He's cautious. Jimmy's ran wide though. Twilight and Tyler still battling in the background. Holy cow.
Dave
Jimmy's got on the curb.
For a bonsai.
Is it a bonsai or was it a fondue?
Either way, it wasn't pretty.
You're not wrong there. I was going to say you're not right, but you were right. Okay, so where Radrian's wall would normally be, part of it has been taken away, probably for repairs, which is why we now turn right and then head into the corner that Mitch is going through at the moment at the church. Mitch has got a monster lead at the moment.
Got a few cars, but Conrad sideways, Jimmy's in the wall.
Yeah, I think Jimmy's in the wall because Conrad put him in the wall. Oh, Conrad's coming under pressure now though from Fluffy. SRI.
He looks like he's lifted off. Jimmy comes back through. Can he get...
He might get through. You know, I think Conrad has managed to... Oh, it's mate. I'm trying to watch the cars in the background. Nearly missed SGP. Oh, someone's gone deep.
Conrad's gone round the outside the wall.
Oh dear. Isn't it just terrible when you do your first commentary and you're watching yourself crash?
Oh god, I'll get used to it anyway.
All Fluffy, big sideways there, but manages to hold on to it. This left hand of the drivers are coming through now. Oh yeah, Rich Blues in the background, into the wall. SGP's going deep into the hairpin, making the move on time. There's so much happening here.
Yeah, SGP and Tyler I think they need to work together to get back onto Twilight, because Twilight's sort of thinking he's away and gone by now, but...
You're absolutely right there, you know, because Twilight has opened up a bit of a gap, and to be fair, Fluffy is leading a train of cars at the moment that has got Steve F1 and Demon R in it. A bit of a surprise there. SRI coming under pressure from Demon R. Sorry, no, he's not. He's coming under pressure from Steve F1. Demon R's coming under pressure from Jason and Formula Gary. They're making everything fine. Steve F1 big sideways through turn 1, nearly wiped out SRI, but SRI survives it, but that's really closed up the pack.
This is where it gets interesting, because everyone's fighting, the pack closes up, you get lost in the boost, and sometimes it's a bit mayhem.
Yeah, that it is. Oh, Steve F1's gone wide again. You don't really want to go wide there into the Thai right-hander that's not quite Radrian's wall, it's more like Radrian's turn. And he's now side by side with Formula Gary and Conrad in the background. Demon R trying to attack SRI. SRI having absolutely none of it. This is fascinating stuff though.
So let's see who we have in the background. I think Conrad's got a run on Formula Gary as well behind. We've got 2 cars behind him. Yeah, Dave the Harps coming up around the outside as well. Yeah,
with Jason. There isn't really anywhere for them to go as they're heading towards the hairpin.
Car sideways. I think that was Jason.
They're all going to need to make sure they get it slowed down in time, which they, I've got to say, that's a beautiful shot. Everyone did get it slowed down for the hairpin. It's a tricky corner. And you mentioned, Connor, about SGP and Tyler working together.
Yeah.
SGP doesn't need Tyler's help, he's just gone and caught up Twilight.
I think this is where SGP needs to try and get past Twilight as quick as he can and then close that gap to Mitch, but then behind we've got this pack of cars that are getting closer and closer as we get through that tight corner. Everyone gets it nice and slowed down. We're back to SGP now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, SGP, if he wants to try and win this race, and to be fair, SGP has been clearly showing to be the fastest driver in this car at the moment, in this championship, and he's making the move. He's having a look up the inside. No, he's not going for it, because you can't really go hard on the brakes in these cars. If you do, you tend to go slower. It
doesn't like to lean on itself. It sort of wants to go away from you if you try and lean on it too much.
Yeah, it's a car that you have to really drive. You can't just push it hard. Look at the pack in the background. And I must admit, maybe SG. Oh, Tyler's binned it.
And Fluffy goes straight past as Tyler and he spins in the background as well. The pack comes through.
That's costly, and as that's happened, SGP's having a look up the inside of Twilight into...
Who's going to get the better run? Twilight's got around the outside. I think he's managed to keep that position.
Absolutely right. I don't know if you've noticed, but I think it is a feature in this car as well. That, I mean, for example, at the hairpins, it's possible that the outside line at the hairpin, if you're side by side, is the faster line because of the exit you can get.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how people get on trying to attack into the hairpins.
This goes through the fast left right handers here. Is he going to brake early and try and get a run on the inside into the second to last corner, or is he going to wait until down the straight into the first corner again?
I think he's probably going to wait. Oh no, he's going to wait until Twilight hits the wall. Oh. That's unfortunate.
Demon and SRI close together with Conrad, Dave the Harp behind.
I think Demon R's just put SRI into the wall. You know he has, because he's letting him. He's slowing down, and here comes Conrad. Oh, I said, isn't it evil when you do your first commentary, you watch yourself crash? You got a decent overtake there as well. It looks like Demon R is still trying to let SRI back through, but he's going to have to be careful. Well, that's the thing. He's going to have to be careful because here comes the pack. So yeah, he wants to give one position away, not all of them. So yeah,
as he lets SRI through now, we're back to SGP. But I want to see what this first corner with these pack of cars. As they all come through, Conrad's through there. Here we go.
Oh, he's taking a tight line on the way into the corner. Could compromise his exit, but he manages to keep SRI behind him.
With two cars absolutely piling to the wall in the background.
I didn't see that. It's a good job you did. SRI trying to make the move on Conrad up towards the Radrian chicane. Oh, he's got the inside line. Conrad maybe. Oh, Conrad's going to have the tight line here. SRI going for the switch back.
SRI gets a good exit there.
Oh, side by side they go. Yeah, he has.
Straight pass. Great overtake.
I think he's doing the Daniel Apt. I think someone else is driving SRI's car. Oh, Demonar's tagged the back of Conrad and put him a little bit sideways, and then Conrad's into the barrier. Gary's in the barrier as well. I tell you what, there's been a lot going on in this race so far. We're only 8 minutes in.
I think there's a lot. Well, I think there'll be a lot more to come if this pack of cars keep together.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, interestingly, Steve F1 trying to get back through the pack as well. Hasn't quite managed to. He's on the back of Demonar now.
He's just getting caught up, isn't he? He just seems to be. He seems to be getting somewhere, and then down the straight, he's getting lost in the boost, and maybe he's people taking a more risky manoeuvre as he's thinking championship.
Maybe, or it could be the fact that Steve F1 this championship has not found. Oh, Gary, big sideways.
Into Jimmy.
Jimmy was lucky to survive that there. That could have been so much worse. And Gary's now sideways on. I think he's dirty tyres, got on the brakes, and the car's just pitched
Jimmy
sideways
as well.
I mean, I don't know if you noticed this, but I mean, something I've noticed over doing the commentaries. Demonar's got a decent run on on Conrad down the stop for Steve F1 run.
Steve F1's off again.
Oh, it's a big spin. Oh my goodness me. That's unexpected. I've got to say, that's massively unexpected. I'll get onto that in a moment. As Demonar is now
side by side. Oh, Connor, late on the brakes, lent on the car a bit too much. The brake bright red there.
Yeah, they were definitely heated up a little bit, but Connor managed. I mean, the important thing there is that Conrad stayed on the track. So if you go off the track at turn one, it's evil. Hay in his second reserve drive, trying to attack Jimmy at the moment. Gary thinking better than getting involved.
Bunsell just lurking in the background as well.
You don't want that, do you? Bunsell lurking.
Here in the beautiful Braun GP livery, does look nice with the stripe along the front as they go into this corner, and Gary's down the inside. Here nudges him a bit, and again
having a quick look at Mitch is running deep in the hairpin. Oh, he's got the wheels on the grass, manages to just about get away with it, but that's a sign of someone that's just pushed a little too hard. I think he's realised that SGP is closing in on him, and he's tried to whoop it a little bit, and the problem is in this car, you push, you go slower. And all big sideways from Jason as Demonar is all over the back of SRI. Yeah, I was going to mention, about Steve F1. Steve F1 spinning on the start-finish straight like that, I mean, it's not something we'd ever really see. But at the same time, Steve F1 in this championship is not all fluff. He's not making that one.
Oh, he's gone wide.
That could be.
That's one of them corners where if you get it wrong, you're getting it big wrong, and with the little bit of barrier that sticks out on the exit as well. It can so easily
pit you round into a spin as SRI coming under a lot of pressure from Demonar as Fluffy, maybe with that little bit of an off, has decided, you know what, time to top up the tank a touch and tyres as well. So SRI is he going to defend to Demonar? No, he's not, but Demonar's not going for the move either. I think that's potentially tactical, in that if he goes for the move there and it don't work, they're both going to end up right at the back.
Yeah. I just hope that SRI remembers this drive, because it's been a great one so far, as he just goes a little bit wide there. Can Demonar get the cutback? He goes just over the curb, takes a little bit of curb.
To be fair, SRI's covering that. Demonar going for the move now in the background. Gary into the wall. So Demonar is going to try up
this
the inside.
This is going to be tight. SRI round the outside. Can he get the better exit again as he uses the outside? Yes, he can.
You know what? Oh, Conrad!
Oh, Conrad!
Oh. And there shows as well the outside line being the faster exit. That's absolutely brilliant from SRI. So SRI defending by not defending at the moment, which is a legitimate tactic on occasion. Jimmy coming under pressure from Gary, who's right behind them. Bunsell.
We just noticed in the background as well there, Fluffy, as he's come out of the pits, has come in a bad a bad place as he avoids them. Oh, he's taken 2 cars nearly. Oh, that was close. He get back past anyway.
It was close. Bunsell was not big, massively late on the brakes. Oh, SRI run a little bit wide. Yes, he is. A little bit of a contact.
Conrad's nowhere to be seen to go down the middle this time.
No, that is not Mitch though. He's been leading since the exit of turn 1, and we're now 13 minutes in, and SGP is closing that
He is visible.
gap. Yeah, I mean, if you're Mitch, he's led races in DGT League before. He's never been able to convert a pole or a lead into a win, and he's got clearly the fastest driver on the grid at the moment in these cars, hunting him down. That's pressure. SRI has got Demon R. I mean, SRI holding Demon R off for this long is fantastic. Or Gary Bunsell, Fluffy 3 wide.
Oh no, 3 abreast.
Fluffy with the pressure tyres. Oh no, he's gone.
Dave the half as well.
I think Fluffy realised at the moment. Oh, and Hayes into the barrier. So is Bunsell and Fluffy. Oh no, that's disaster. I don't know if Fluffy caught them, but he definitely realised he wasn't making the corner and looked like he took evasive of Dave.
These two are still going at it.
Yeah, it looks like Demon R's looking
SRI
for
is
the inside line
doing a
again.
great defensive driver. He's putting in the car in the right places, using the outside line again.
Well, I was going to say, is he putting his car in the right place there by not defending the inside?
But I think he's getting onto the fact that if he uses the outside, he has the good run up the hill, because that's a couple of times that he's used it now and it's worked for him.
I'll tell you what, Demon R's close enough here.
What does he do for next corner?
Well, I was going to say, Demon R's close enough. Oh, Demon R trying to go round to the outside, but he's hit the wall. But interestingly, SRI was not going to, it didn't look like he was going to go down the inside, because that would be the interesting thing for me, into the hairpins. Because if SRI is not going to the inside when Demon R is this close, then it shows that he knows exactly what he's doing. Demon R has got an opportunity here, but this is a tricky corner through the left-hander. Side by side-ish they go. No, once again, SRI around the outside manages to hold on.
I think Demon R needs to work on that livery and add them scratches in, because they're sort of just adding with the Monster Energy logo. It's a great cutback by SRI there as well. Demon R just goes a little bit hot.
I mean, that shows it perfectly there. SRI did not cover the inside line. Demon R went for it, and SRI got the switch back, and away he goes.
Oh, it's going to be close here.
You know what, you're absolutely right. He's close enough to attack. I've got to say, this is clearly, I think, the best race SRI has ever had. Demon R going for the inside. Is he down into turn 1? No, he's backing out of it. Interesting.
It's one of them corners where if you get... Oh, Connor's drifting there.
Yeah, that he is. Jason behind him.
To be careful.
Dave the Ops getting a little bit twitchy in there as well.
I think the first corner's sort of a one. If you go down the inside and the guy realises and then backs off and gets the good exit, you're sort of a sucker for the next sort of section of corners.
Yeah, you are, and that apex curb is evil at turn 1. This car can ride curves quite nicely, but it's because it's kind of not a pyramid, it's got a very sharp peak to the curb. It does like spinning.
Here in the wall, Bunsell into the back of him. Here's just having a detour around the outside there.
Not as much as Jimmy.
Comes flying in there.
Yeah, I think Jimmy got that one a little bit wrong.
I always said the outside line, but that was very outside.
Yeah, that was so far outside. I think he's got rain on it. Okay, SGP, he's closing in. That gap is visibly getting smaller and smaller. Twilight, I think he'll be quite happy to be all on his own at the moment, having a nice quiet race. He'll be able to look after his fuel a little bit. 4th place, we've still got SRI holding off Demon R. Demon R trying to go through fast through the kink, not quite working. He's going to have to get SRI out of position at some point.
Yeah, I think. Oh, he's this pack again. It's all still together. They've had all Dave the Harp.
Yeah,
bit of drifting.
Big coffee tank slapper. I think Fluffy having a look up the inside of Gary. Are they going to get it slowed down?
Steve into the side, Gary.
Oh, there's Rich. I didn't see Rich at all until the end there. Yeah, Steve F1, so he's still trying to recover from his big spin on the start-finish earlier, and coming under a bit of pressure. Oh,
he's backed off.
He has backed off.
Is he pitting? Is he pitting, or is he letting people through?
I'm thinking he may...
He's pitted. There's a car in the pits.
I think that's somebody else. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that Steve F1 passed the pit lane, and somebody else is coming. It's somebody else in the pits. We'll have to see on that. We'll see how he gets. We may have pitted.
There's Tyler there as well. Tyler in the background.
Yeah, so I think Tyler has pitted for him to be back there. Oh, he's had a crash. Oh, he's off. He's crashing now.
Oh, he took two with him. And I can't see Steve F1 coming through. So as Steve F1 is just coming through the background now.
Interesting. Well, either he A, pitted, or B, felt he hit somebody off in those final few corners and waited for him, and maybe that was the person that ended up in the pits. Demon R having another look over the inside. Once again, SRI not defending the inside of the corner. Demon R gets
using
through.
The outside again, but it's going to be inside for this right-hander.
And there we go. SRI manages to hold on to the position. Does he though? Because Demon R, I think Demon R's quicker through this corner though, Connor. If he pushes it round the outside and then can hold on to the left.
SRI round the outside again.
Oh, and SRI dips a wheel. This is fantastic stuff though. Now though into the hairpin. Oh, Demon R's on the inside. Oh, he's going to be a sitting duck. Is he? No. SRI tags the back of him.
They both use the same line.
Yeah, so Demon R manages to just about get that one to work, but he could now easily come under pressure down into turn one because their exits were compromised and SRI is close enough. We've seen SRI defending by not defending. Let's see if he can attack by attacking or not attacking.
Yeah, in the background, that second to last corner, we had Fluffy into the side of Dave the Harp as well, so it's getting all fruity back there.
Or just what we like. Okay, Demon R now not defending by not defending, taking that very outside line, and yeah, SRI can't quite get it to work for him. This is a brilliant battle, I've got to say. I've never seen SRI drive like this, to be fair.
Yeah, he's keeping him honest, but now Demon R's ahead. Can he get away? No, he can't. Commentator's curse. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you couldn't have timed that any better, could you? Or any worse even. So it's just taken Demon R 15 minutes to get ahead of SRI, and now it's
dirty tyres.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Dan, you mentioned that. Me and Steve F1 on the commentary a couple of races ago were mentioning that if you have an off or a crash in this car, it can take a couple of laps to get your tyres cleaned up again. Which means you have to be so careful because you can very easily have another off and then you're into a vicious cycle. I mean, that's possible that's something that's happened with Steve F1 in this race since the first lap when Demon R wiped him out. It wasn't really a wipe out, it was a tap, but Steve F1 has definitely had a few adventures in this race. He's now there, right behind Dave the Harp, just ahead of Fluffy. Rich Blues is that, I think, attacking Gary in the back. Oh, Steve F1 sideways! Yeah, I think Steve F1 might be driving angry. Oh, it's Bunsell. No, Bunsel's lurking. It is Rich Blues. Yeah, I think Steve F1 may be driving a little bit angry at the moment.
Yeah, they're just getting... I mean, as they go side by side again, they're just losing time.
Yeah. It's one of those things where... It's Connor has to say yes to someone. It's one of those things as well. I mean, in this car, it's like I said, with SGP, he's driving smooth, he's driving calm, he's going quick. Steve F1 hasn't been had to deal with this kind of situation before. So if he's pushing it over the limits a little bit, it might not be working for him. And then you add in as Dave the Arp's brakes and tyres are glowing. Oh, you know what? If you're Mitch, you've got to be bricking it at the moment because getting ever larger in his mirror is that car of SGP. Twilight, he's going to be aware now that SRI and Demon R have been battling behind him, but it's still SRI behind him. And then the pack, I've got to say, so far, yes, there's been a few crashes, but so far it looks like the pack has actually been quite well behaved for the most part.
Well, the first few laps were a bit mad, but they seem to have calmed down a bit now.
Yeah, that they do. Okay, Steve F1 trying a move on Dave Harp, not quite working. Oh, who's that into the barrier? Is that Gary? Yes, that's Gary into the barrier in the background. Steve F1 now bump drafting Dave the Harp a little bit. Dave Harp saying, thank you, but I'm going to give Fluffy the slipstream, so you can't attack me. But it'll be interesting to see what these guys do into the hairpin. Dave the Harp's defending the inside. That could be costly if Steve F1 can hold his calm. Bunsell dipped a wheel. Ooh. Steve F1 has got the outside line. He's going to get the position here. Yeah, Dave, unfortunately, that kind of shows what happens if you defend properly in this car. You're going to lose the place.
They just go through that corner again. There's just a couple of cars starting to look.
Oh, Steve F1!
Oh no!
he's going to be absolutely fuming about that. You know, he's had to fight through the pack so many times in this race, and then when he gets ahead of Dave the Hart with a beautiful bit of driving, he goes and dips a wheel. Yeah, he will not be happy. And interestingly, that I don't think he's actually crashed yet in the corner which is named after him, which is the penultimate corner. We've decided to call that Witchfields because he hates that corner in practice. But I think he's crashed everywhere but that corner today.
We're just noticing there that Jason's got past Conrad somewhere, so.
Unfortunately, we can't get to that. Yeah, that gap is definitely. If you're Mitch, you are definitely now sweating because that gap is coming down. Look at the gap that SRI has got over Demon Hart. No, hang on. No. Look at the gap he hasn't got. He was in a brilliant position there to basically just pull away, and that's what I was on about. Demon Hart had it off a couple of laps ago, and that's how much time he'd lost in looking after his tyres. Now SRI is going to have to be careful because his tyres are going to be filthy and cold as Tyler trying to make it 3 wide, as Conrad trying to close in on Jason. Can that 3 wide make it?
The pack's coming together now though again. I mean, Conrad has been running around in 6th place. He's now got cars all over.
Yeah, that he has. Mitch getting a little bit twitchy into the left-hander, manages to hold on though as SGP slowly reels him in a little bit more, and a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see how this is going to pan out because SGP's in an interesting situation at the moment, leading the championship. His main rival in the championship at the moment, Steve F1, is not even in the top 8. His second main rival, which is Demon Hart, is in 4th place, so SGP is going to be gaining plenty of points over him. His other potential rival is Mitch, who points-wise is behind Demon Hart at the moment. Okay, would gain 3 points on him, but the gap's big enough that SGP doesn't need to risk anything here, really.
But does he just want to take it for the win? Does he just want to go for it? Or he's been pushing for this last few laps. I don't know what fuel they're both running, but...
Well, I mean, that's the thing, we do not know unless they pit. But I think really SGP will want the win, and he's definitely wanting the win because of how much he's closing up. But it's what he's willing to risk to get it. I think, because I wouldn't be surprised if he sits there and goes, okay, if the opportunity comes that I can make the move, then I'll go for it. If it doesn't, not a problem. But having said that, in the heat of the moment, we never know what a driver's going to do, but this does mean that we're potentially in for an epic battle for the last 15 minutes for the lead of the race, as Dave the Harp, who was passed by Steve F1 not so long ago, and now Steve F1 is not even in shot at the moment, unfortunately, as SGP is closing in on Mitch through the hairpins. And I'm hearing as well that SGP has been saying to his engineer, saying, I know where I'm faster. I think the answer to that at the moment is everywhere. Because of how much he's been able to close in, but I must admit, this is the corner that catches a lot of people out, and then this final hairpin, which is what we'll call in Witchfields, it's a corner that if you dip a wheel, like SGP did there, you go another millimetre, you could very, very easily be into the barriers and needing a breakdown recovery. And yeah, it's a fascinating racetrack, to be fair, I find.
Yeah, I've just noticed that we have a car that's way behind the pack. As they go into the second to last corner, the car's just coming into sort of the second sector.
I think that's Steve F1, because this is the majority of the pack.
Yeah,
and he's
so
not
he's
there.
behind Rich Blues, but he's what, another 25 to 30 seconds behind the pack.
I'm wondering if he's pitted. Mitch has gone wide. This could be
a bit of pressure.
It definitely is. He's pushed the brakes a little bit too far there, but holds on to the position. However, poor exit out of the right-hander could give SGP the opportunity. Bit of a twitch there from Mitch as
he has the hazards on.
Hazards come on. Yeah.
Let's stay away.
Yeah. If lights could speak, yeah, they'd be saying fork off.
Is it like the air's light when they saving airs in F1? He's saving fuel.
It could be. Mitch is going defensive. He's going defensive to the inside at the hairpin, and SGP will know that the outside is the faster line. Can he make the move?
He gets through. No, he just squeezes his nose.
Yeah, Mitch just managed. I think SGP, that perhaps shows he's being a little cautious, because really that should have been a move done there.
To me now though, Mitch had that gap, and then it seems now he seems to be driving in the mirrors.
Yeah, definitely, and he's going defensive
He
again.
is as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's definitely driving in the mirrors, and the thing is, that can make you go so much slower. And looking how close SGP is now, he's going to have a run on him down into turn 1 for sure.
Good speed through there as he run a bit wide to get the momentum through the corner.
He could be up alongside him way before the corner. He's gaining, having a look up the inside. Mitch squeezing him a little bit though. Ooh, a little bit on the grass there as SGP. Oh no, he's getting twitchy under braking. I don't think he's getting it stopped. Ooh.
That was good from Mitch. I think he just sort of, was it the dirt on the tyres was squeezing him onto the grass that caused the wobble?
I think it was the dirt on the tyres that may have caused the wobble there. So easily done. I mean, to be fair, once there was a little bit of a squeeze there, it looked like Mitch gave SGP plenty of space after that. But that may be a warning sign to SGP that, be careful if you're going to go for it, because it looks like Mitch wants this win as SGP. His tyres are dirty now, you can tell.
Go to Demon R. Demon R's passed SRI with that mistake, and now he's looking to get the Twilight to get that podium spot.
Oh, that he is. I mean, Twilight's had a bit of a lonely race, but he will absolutely want that and love that here today. He took a bit of a beating in Tokyo, did he? And I don't mean like he was defeated. I mean he took a beating. His car, I think it was pretty much scrapped after that race as the pack.
Oh, Gary goes sideways and Bunsell just manages to avoid him.
Yeah, interestingly, Jason's 6th place managing to just hold off a bit of a gap here. Fluffy, on Dave the Hard, bit of contact, Conrad there as well. So Jimmy scraping the barriers.
He loves that barrier.
He does, doesn't he? I've heard
Jimmy corner.
He even loves the barriers when he goes bowling. He's going to take some crap for that now.
Is this now Fluffy managing to latch onto the pack because everyone's saving fuel, whereas he's pitted?
Interesting. You know what? You could be absolutely right there, Con, because he did pit early on, didn't he? And as we've mentioned in previous races, the fuel it's right on that limit. If you look after it a bit, it'll get you to the end. If you push it, it won't. At some tracks, it could be safe to push, but it's handy to know which ones. We've seen the likes of Demon R, David Harp, Fluffy, doing pit stops at races just to do the splash and dash, but then we've seen the likes of SGP and Steve F1 who've won all the races so far, saving fuel and going all the way to the end and making it work. So SGP closing in on Mitch once again, and I mentioned about Twilight's car. I mean, it was absolutely SGP. See, okay, SGP's close. Mitch didn't defend in that hairpin, in that corner, but what's he going to do up at the hairpins? Is he going to defend the inside line again? Because if he is, SGP...
He is, yep. Oh no, is SGP just tucked back in? Yes, he's got the... Oh. Mitch moves across.
Mitch...
Oh, he's gone late in there.
You know what, if I was sat in SGP's seat, I would be going, is he moving about a little bit too much? Because it looked like he was defending the inside, then he wasn't, then he was, and then he's kind of no man's land. I think if he was to position his car in no man's land and stick there, it'd probably be absolutely fine. So you've got to be careful about moving a little bit too much under the braking zone. He's not defending the penultimate corner, Witchfields, and the best thing there to do is not defend it, but he's now going to have to be very careful heading down into the first corner, as we've only got 8.5 minutes of this race to go. It's absolutely flying by. Also flying by are these two over the start finish to start lap 18, and SGP, he's got to be close enough.
Close again.
If he wants this, he's going to have to go for it. He's going to have to make the move one way or another. And he's
round the outside this time. Mitch squeezes him again.
He does, but that's all clean and fair and lovely to see. I mean, interestingly, once again, SGP showing a little bit of caution. It looks like he doesn't want to end up in the barriers off the track, losing positions, because at the moment, if he finishes in this position, so be it. If he finishes behind Demon R, he'll kick himself, because it'll be an opportunity missed to really open up that championship points lead that he's got at the moment. And
they've got a big gap to Twilight now as well. I mean, these two fighting on their own, yeah, but if they take each other off, how far back are the rest of the guys to?
Yeah, I mean, can they capitalise? Maybe not. It depends on how big the crash would be. As once again, SGP trying to attack, and he's attacking in a different position this time, a different corner. But once again, Mitch defends aggressively, but fairly right there. And yeah, SGP can't make the
Fluffy
move.
past Conrad as well. Fluffy into 7th now.
Okay, so Fluffy making moves. Fluffy unfortunately hasn't been able to practice as much as he would have liked to in this car over recent weeks. He keeps saying that even in lockdown he's been busier than ever before. He's probably questioning what he used to do before. Mitch not defending into the hairpin.
Demon R's right on Twilight now as well. Last podium spot. We've got last 7 minutes to try and see something happen here for Demon R.
Yeah, well, interestingly, I'm guessing that this far into the race, all these top 4 have got enough fuel to get to the end, otherwise they'd have pitted already. So Demon R versus Twilight for 3rd, SGP versus Mitch for 1st, as SGP is closing in once again down towards the first corner. Mitch not defending, and I think that's the right thing to do. He'll be aware that SGP doesn't want to risk this.
Yeah, I think once it's sort of the car's in the sort of 3/10, 4/10 marker, you're sort of safe, but once they enter that radar, you want to be defending.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you want to do is end up in tears because you've gone for a risky overtake
down the inside,
like that.
Does he make contact?
It was a little bit of
SGP lets him back through.
Okay, touch and go there as to whether. I mean, it's difficult to tell on that view whether he should have let him through, but clearly SGP felt that it wasn't a fair overtake that he'd just done there. And I mean, commentary-wise, I couldn't have timed that even better if I'd tried. But yeah, I mean, you don't want to end up in tears. I mean, I was going down the motorway the other day, right? Saw an RAC patrol van driving along with a driver absolutely bawling his eyes out. It was clear he was on his way to a breakdown.
Hold on, the pins dropped some point.
Oh, don't worry, it'll get worse before the end. That's just one of them. Okay, Demon R all over the back of Twilight now, and Twilight will he defend in the same way that SRI did? SGP once again all over the back of Mitch.
Fluffy up to 6th now as well. He's got Jason.
That he has. Mitch dipping those 2 wheels could be costly for him.
They both go towards the wall there, sort of squeezing each other to the inside. Does he get to?
He got lucky there as Mitch.
He sort of saved himself by coming across the front of SGP there.
Disgusting. Or Twilight's done a similar thing, but not quite. Oh, actually, well, similar thing in the penultimate corner. But Demon R up the inside in the hairpin. I think Twilight's tyres are going to be too dirty to fight back on that one. Yeah, could well be. SGP hasn't been able to attack down into turn 1. It looks like SGP now is getting a little bit more desperate. Either that or it could just be frustration because Mitch's error there. Oh yeah, frustration. It's frustration. He's having a look up the inside, but that's not going to work.
He wants it now. Oh, he has as well as contact. Oh, he's gone off. That's a bad off.
It is. That's a new one. Bad off. That's rammed offs, mate. But yeah, I mean.
Okay. Conrad pits.
You know what? Looking at the amount of fuel that is in his car, he hasn't got enough fuel to get to the end, so he's had to come in for a splash of that tyre.
The mechanics haven't put fuel in.
Oh, no. Oh, Geordie, pit stops.
Bloody hell, man.
I can't believe you just tried doing a Geordie accent.
Didn't need subtitles anyway.
Yeah. Interestingly though, SGP there, it looked like the frustration was building a little bit. I mean, when Mitch made that little error and ended up right in front of SGP, and that was an opportunity for SGP, that may have just bugged him a bit.
You were questioning earlier on if he wanted to win or if he just wanted to sit there, but clear now that he wanted that.
Yeah, that he did, unfortunately. In the attempt he made to take the win, it didn't quite work. We've got 3 abreast
coming up here. We've got Steve F1's back into the top 10 now as well.
That he is. I'm guessing he must have composed himself, perhaps took a little bit of a breather earlier on, got himself out of the battle as Fluffy has managed to pull away a little bit from Jason. Jimmy going around the outside, and Bunsell going even further around the outside. But yeah, David Hart's going to have to be careful.
Formula here. Gary as well there at the back.
Yeah, Tyler's all over the back of Dave the Harp. But yeah, Fluffy's managed to pull away. Jason's got a bit of a gap, but Steve F1 closing in on him. This is absolutely brilliant stuff. I've got to say this, I'm loving this. I mean, Fluffy, he will be loving this at the moment, but if he puts 1 foot wrong, he could easily end up dead last.
He could end up last, especially behind Gary at the back there. We've got the pack heading into this last corner. Anyone going to make a move into first corner with the run, or are we all going to be playing nice and wait?
They're not going to be playing nice and waiting. Steve F1's got to run on Jason. He's going to be going for that one straight away. Dave the Harp coming under pressure from Tyler.
Steve F1 side by side with Jason. We've got Hay on the grasses. We've got Dave the Harp coming across the front.
Yeah, Dave the Harp trying to defend. Steve F1 gets the move done, manages to stay on the track. I think Tyler was trying to bump draft Dave the Harp, but it didn't quite work. But Steve F1 overtaking Jason has now just closed everybody in, and here comes Dave the Harp alongside Tyler. Hey, alongside Jimmy. And
Formula Gary just watching on.
He'll be watching on to go, okay, where can I strike? Considering that he is a little bit mental, is our Gary. Okay, so Dave Harp now making the move on Jason as well. I'm wondering if Jason is having a bit of an issue, because a while ago he was pulling away from the pack, but now he's getting swamped.
He's dropped right back in.
I'm wondering if he's got enough fuel, you know. I mean, we saw that Conrad's in trouble because his team didn't put fuel
He's pitted
in.
again as well. He's pitted again.
Disastrous for him. So yeah, so if Jason hasn't got the fuel, he's now in a whole world of pain. Oh, Steve F1 nearly goes off again as Jimmy and who was that? Jimmy and Rich Blues got side by side. Bunsel off the barrier.
Dave the Harp coming through ahead of the pack. Can he get onto Steve F1 and maybe leave these lot behind? But we've got a lot of cars going side by side. Is that Gary going off onto the grass?
I think it looked like Bunsel was having a look up the inside and it didn't quite work. Jason going defensive, that might work for him in that position. Tyler goes wide. Oh, Tyler's going to hit the barrier. Yeah, he's trying to save it. He's still not. That's painful for Tyler. Just want to mention
livery next week for Tyler.
Either that or a brown livery. Oh,
Gary nearly went into pits. We've got Jason in now. So zero. Wow.
Yeah, he was definitely. And to be fair, I mean, the drivers have now started the last lap of the race. We're at 39 minutes and 54 seconds. Oh, who's that here? Oh dear, I wasn't quite looking there. I was looking at the clock, so I didn't really see what happened there.
Looks like Mitch is going to take the win if he can just hold on for a few more corners.
You could be absolutely right. Interestingly, once again though, SGP had that off. He's not been able to get his tyres cleaned up and close that gap in once again. It just goes to show that it happens to the best of them.
Bunsel nearly takes out the camera.
He wouldn't take it out, he'd just take it home. I dread to think what he'd video on his camera. Bunsel, please don't show us. But yeah, okay, so we are on the last lap. I think the leaders are actually coming around the final hairpin, heading towards the kink on, so Mitch, it looks like Mitch is going to take his maiden victory in Dynamic GT League here in Sardegna A. Absolutely fantastic for him. His first win. Oh, brilliant.
SGP just managed to get the gap a little bit smaller on that last lap there. Yeah, Demon R comes through.
I think Demon R will be fairly pleased finishing in third after the start of the race that he had.
I think on lap one he would have thought top 5 will do him, but getting a podium has really improved. And
definitely. And Twilight sitting in 4th place. Okay, painful that he lost out on that 3rd place, but I think he'll be very happy with his 4th place finish.
SRI, very good race in 5th.
Yeah, and a brilliant result for SRI. It was unfortunate because with his off, well, it was unfortunate and fortunate. With his off and losing the position to Demon R, he then had to look after his tyres and survive. Fluffy finishes ahead of Steve F1. He's not happy with his car, is he?
He's peed off.
Okay, so Gary coming across the line in 11th. Jason was 10th. Jimmy, it's a nice slide across the finish line, and Rich Bruce is going to finish just. Well, interestingly, Hay, I did hear that Hay was saying that he was getting involved in the battles in the race, but because he was a reserve driver, he decided to every now and again sort of just get out of the way because he didn't want to affect people, which I can kind of understand. But at the same time, I think the admins do want to see reserve drivers showing what they've got. But to be fair, after the last race that Hay was in, where there was a few incident reports and The admins and the stewards went down the route of educating rather than penalising. I can fully understand why Hay has gone down that route.
I think, yeah, he's sort of getting close to battles as well, running a few people, rubbing doors and things. Just maybe he wants to save on parts for his next reserve race.
Yeah, quite possibly, because the parts could be costly. I mean, it's I've got to say that was a very exciting race, though. Very exciting race.
Yeah.
I mean, for Mitch taking the win, it's been some time coming. He's had pole positions before. He's led races before, but I mean, some people may say, oh well, he was helped by the incidents that happened. Steve F1 wasn't really in that race up at the front.
SGP had a little sideways moment coming out of the first corner as well with Demon R and Steve F1.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, well, I mean, when you look at it, there's a number of different ways you could look at it. You could go, well, okay, Mitch got a little bit lucky there, but then you could go, well, so did SGP, because with him going off at that first corner, if he hadn't have gone off, I dread to think how quick he would have been, because for him to end up where he was and end up right up Mitch's gearbox, he had so much pace over everybody else in that race, and I mean, I mentioned it on last week's commentary. It's looking like this could be his championship, but he's got to make sure he keeps getting the points in. And to be fair, there was a couple of points in this race today where it could have gone very badly, and that last off that we saw him have, I mean, if
cars were closer, he could have lost a couple of positions.
Exactly. I mean, maybe he calculated it and thought, okay, well, if I lose a little bit of time in this situation, it's safe. But you never really do know what can happen. But I've got to say, though, fair play to him for trying to get the victory. I will mention as well, we will be showing people's post-race comments. It'll be interesting to see how many of the drivers felt their races went there. I mean, I've got to admit, I think a lot of people will be wondering exactly what happened to Steve F1 in that race. But sometimes people have an off day.
But I mean, he's not a sort of guy where you'd think two or three offs in a race, and then especially the one on the straight where he nearly lost it into pits. I mean, I think he'd be happy to just come home and get some points. Yeah, I think that's wrote off race and then back next week and see what he can do. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's never easy either when you're racing, and if you're having one of those off days, it's never easy to go, okay, well, I've had a few crashes, let's just forget it. It's not that easy to just do that, but sometimes during a race you do just kind of need to flick a switch and reset, and maybe that's what Steve F1 did when he appeared to have dropped off, because at one point he was 20 seconds off the back of the second to last
place. He was
place.
Off the back of the pack, wasn't he?
Yeah, so I'm wondering whether he had a moment of calm at that point.
Yeah,
and came back at it, because I don't think he had another off after that. I mean, I think it's good that he would have been able to go, okay, I need to take a moment here and see how he gets on. So to be fair, towards the end of the race, very good. Unfortunately for Connor, I mean, in as a reserve, but I mean, a bit difficult in as a reserve and not fully knowing perhaps what the car's going to do on the fuel.
Yeah, I think the first half of the race, tyres were good, fuel was good, he was doing okay, running sixth, and then I think maybe the last quarter he sort of flicked through the fuel and realised, oh no, I haven't kept an eye on that, and now I'm running on fumes. Yeah,
I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, because obviously you don't, when you're watching these videos, we don't get to see how much fuel the drivers have got or anything like that. But for the drivers, in case they haven't worked it out yet, there's a simple way to work it with the 80 litres that are in the tank. I mean, we've talked a lot before on commentary about how it is difficult to calculate fuel while you're racing. Trying to do mathematics while you're racing. I mean, quite often you can ask a driver how many laps are left. I mean, okay, in DGT League we use it's on the time limit, but you can have, say, a 25 lap race and you ask a driver, okay, how many laps are left? And at least 50% of them are probably going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've done it. You go, well, I'm on lap 16, so blah blah, and get it, and I'm 1 out. So if you're then trying to calculate, and if you're wondering how that happens, folks, like, use your imagination, but it's basically missing a lap. Basically, it's so easy to do. And if you're doing that while calculating fuel, and then you actually got to drive as well. So one of the ways that I know that SGP does it is when he's practicing, he goes, okay, right, in 10 minutes, how much fuel am I going to use? Now, you could go, okay, per lap I'm using whatever percent. Or you could do it the simpler way, which is drive for 10 minutes, and from 80 litres to 10 minutes, you should have 60 litres left.
Yeah.
That way, multiply it to the 40 minutes, that gets you to 0. But then you may have that extra lap, so you may need that little bit more. So ideally, sort of at 20 minutes, you're going to want about 45% of 45 litres of fuel. Above the 40 anyway. If you're below the 40, that's where you can go, okay, I'm going to need to save a bit in this second half. And then when you get to that last 10 minutes, if you haven't got 20% or more, that's when it's kind of like, okay, I either save loads or head to the pit lane. But
I think, judging what we're hearing from Connor, I think he went into mix. I think obviously mix 1 with being the quickest. I think he was in mix 3 for the couple of laps before he pitted, and obviously that wasn't enough. And then with him being a reserve driver, I think the pit crew just forgot he was racing this week and just didn't put any fuel in. And then coming round next time with his threatening behaviour, he had to put some in.
Yeah. Did he have to get out of the car and fill it himself?
Yeah. Siphoned it off another car, maybe Steve F1.
Or Jason. That's why Jason ends up with nothing in his tank. But yeah, I mean, it's very easily done. I mean, you did say something interesting there, which I'll mention to you once we've finished recording, actually, rather than give secrets away. But yeah, I'm trying to think who else in that race. I mean, SRI for me had a standout performance today. There's not many people on the grid that have held up Demon R in the way that SRI did today. That was different class from SRI today. The last time I think I saw something like that would have been Steve F1 at Brazil, when Steve F1 won at Brazil in the Supra Formula, I think it was, where it was literally 15 minutes of being harassed and managed to hold on to the position. I mean, to be fair, SRI's got a heart condition, so God knows how he coped with that. I'm not surprised he drinks after going through that. But it'd be, I just hope for SRI that he can have another performance along those lines, because that showed what he's capable of, that's for sure.
Well, who up and do?
I wonder what you were saying there. Oh, it's Scottish. Oh dear. Oh, I tell you what though, I mean, this current situation that we're all living in, it has had such an effect on us all. I mean, I mentioned about Ray drinking there, being Scottish. I mean, he doesn't drink because he's Scottish. He drinks because he wants to drink. But I do know that SRI has been putting in some extra practice over the last few weeks, and to be fair, it really did show. But at the end of the day, in these weird times we live in, we all kind of have to deal with it in our own weird ways. I mean, I know that there's a Netflix documentary coming out about people who have been camping in their gardens during the lockdown, right?
Yeah.
It's directed by Tenting Quarantino.
He needs a good pegging.
He does, doesn't he? Oh dear. The thing is, I don't know what's worse than that, but my upstairs neighbour, for 2 weeks, right? For 2 weeks, my upstairs neighbour, I've been hearing thud. So what the hell is that? Thud. Okay. I eventually found out what it was. He's a very well-known local darts player, right?
Yeah.
But he's been taken ill because his wife nails the dartboard to the ceiling. It's made him throw up.
I was going to say it's a good job you live in a bungalow.
Yeah, no comment. I think I might have done that one. I like that one.
Okay. Well, we'll let the tumbleweeds roll past then.
Yeah. Oh, come on, that was a good one. That was. I even added to the story on that one. I don't have an upstairs neighbour. I have a downstairs neighbour.
Does he throw down then?
No, he doesn't. He's not into wrestling. Yeah. I mean, I've got others, but I'm going to save them.
Oh yeah, we've got plenty. You've got plenty races to just drop them in.
Yeah, that we have. What I will say though, Connor, is thank you very much for joining me on commentary, giving it your first go. I'm gonna say you did very well. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure.
Good. And the next race, which we've just raced at Sardegna A. The next race, Sardegna A, but in the other direction, is going to be an interesting one, because is SGP going to be not dominant, but is he going to have that same pace again? Is this going to be SGP's championship?
I'd love to see the first corner of that dink going left.
Yeah. I mean, it's flat out going right, but you'll be at a lower speed. Well, you at the start of the race, you might be at a lower speed going through the left than you would be coming through the right.
Yeah.
But every other lap after that, you're going to be at a much higher speed. Is it going to be a flat out corner? And if it is there a risk? I think there could be a. That first corner, I think you could be right. It could be carnage, because it'll only take one person to carry a little bit too much speed, dip a wheel into the barrier, could collect a lot of cars. Especially
with the pack using the boost down the straight as well. It'll be interesting.
That it will, it definitely will, and especially when the corner after it is a reverse Witchfield. So, very fast.
So it'll be field Witch.
That it will. Yeah, he's on the ball. This one. So yeah, very fast corner into hairpin. So it'll be fascinating to see how the drivers get on there. But yeah, Connor, thank you very much for joining me on the commentary. And I think it's only right that we have a look at the confirmed race results, and then see if there's any reports as well, and see what that result has done to the championship standings, because that weirdly may have just mixed things up a little bit. So, confirming then, Mitch taking the victory and the maximum 20 points. Congratulations to him. I can imagine it's not going to be the only win he's going to have in Dynamic GT League. Second place is SGP. It's still a big points haul for him and gaining room over his rivals. Demon R manages to recover to third place and 15 points. Twilight with a brilliant result to finish in fourth place. I feel for him, he really deserved the podium, but fourth place is a brilliant result. And SRI, absolutely phenomenal drive, and yeah, fully deserves that fifth place and the 11 points, and probably a bit of a rest. Fluffy Planet finished in 6th ahead of Steve F1 in 7th. He did well to recover, to clear his head and recover by the end, but it has been a costly result for him. But he did finish ahead of Dave the Harp in 8th, Bunsalt 9th, Jason finished in 10th. He's been lost for a few weeks as Jason, unfortunately. He found his way to the racetrack today, just couldn't quite find his way to the petrol station. Formerly Gary finished in 11th place, and he was just ahead of Jimmy in 12th. There's definitely a manic battle in the pack in this race, that's for certain. Tyler, bit of a tough race for him in Sardegna, 13th place, and he was ahead of Rich Blues in 14th, who I believe was in about 9th place until the last lap, where he made a bit of an error, or as in Jamaica they might say, a bit of a boo-boo. I'm not doing an accent again. 15th place was Hay, and unfortunately Conrad 16th place, and 16th place unfortunately doesn't score any points, so a painful end to the race for Conrad, but a brilliant display until he had the problems with the fuel and the pit crew. And that result has affected the championship in the following way. SGP still leading the way on 74 points, now has an 11-point lead over Steve F1, who still sits second, but has now fallen into the clutches of Mitch in third on 61 points, who's jumped above Demon R in fourth on 58 points. Dave the Harper's going to have to be a little bit careful of Twilight, because Dave the Harper's on 41 points in fifth, and Twilight, with his brilliant result today, jumps up to 6th on 39 points. Fluffy just overtaken, 1 point behind Twilight now in 7th. Bunsel now sits 8th place on 28 points. Jimmy 1 place behind him and 1 point behind him. Then formerly Gary and SRI have both stolen Rich's number 10 spot. They're both on 18 points, and Rich has been dropped down to 12th on 16. Tyler's gained a few points but still sits a lowly 13th on 14 points. Jason, he's found the racetrack as I mentioned, but he's going to have to try and find some pace if he can, if he wants to start a little bit further up the grid. Groover unfortunately wasn't able to race today, and that's why we're able to have a couple of reserves on the track, but he still sits in 15th place on 5 points. Hay now in 16th on 4 points, and Conrad is 17th, but unfortunately still on 0 points. And I can tell you that there were no post-race reports, so it would appear that any incidents that happened on the track were dealt with in the correct way on the track, hopefully. I would always say though, do not fear about putting a report in, as the last event showed. Even if the DGT League admins don't necessarily apply a penalty, if reports can educate drivers or even viewers or anything like that, then it's definitely worth placing reports. Okay, it's been a fantastic race here at Sardegna A. Next race is Sardegna A2, so it's going to look very, very similar. It's going to be a little bit weird racing in the opposite direction. However, it's still going to be fantastically exciting, I am sure. Is SGP going to clock up more points? Is he going to take another win? Could Mitch throw another surprise in there again? Could Demon R take out too many people in the first quarter again? But there's only one way to find out, you know, and that is to come and join us here at DGT League for all of the action. Thank you very much for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share. Stay safe, everybody. All lives matter. So yeah, stay safe out there. Have a good one, everybody, and we'll see you all again soon.